Welcome to the Magic on Main Street podcast. I'm Sean.
And I'm Tabitha.
Over the better part of a decade, our little family has lived the Disneyland lifestyle. As an ex-cast member and now longtime annual pass holders, we've been surrounding our lives with Disney. From Disney bounding to pin trading,
exclusive items and all the food,
we've fully immersed ourselves in the culture that Walt built. We've done it all and have made some great friends and memories over the years.
We'll be sitting down with friends and other Disney junkies to share our stories and advice.
We'll be your one-stop shop for Disneyland history and trivia and all the insider information you could ever ask for on merchandise, food, shows, attractions, and everything else you should know about the parks.
Our goal is to bring a little magic to your ears each week by sharing our Disneyland journey with you.
This is Magic on Main Street.
And hear you, they savor the challenge and promise of the future.
Welcome back, everybody. It's episode 7.
Hello.
I am Sean.
I'm Tabitha.
And with us, as always, is the Colonel, the man who makes us sound great. It's Daniel Proc. At DinoProc95 on Instagram. With us, as always, the moocher upstairs.
Worst roommate ever.
Worst roommate ever. Doesn't even pay $1 of rent. It's Kenzie Lee.
Hi.
All right. And don't forget about our little mascot. It's Scar the kitten.
He's seeping right there.
Good. Keep him there. All righty. We have a humongous show. Every show is humongous.
Ginormous.
It's ginormous is an understatement.
Like the toilets on Elf.
Yeah, we're talking about stuff in the news. We've got all kinds of merch, like always. Cool hidden Mickey with the kid.
No wonder I can't save any money.
I know.
The merch is killing me.
I'm overweight. I'm out of money. It's all because of Disneyland merch and Disneyland food. We've got slow weekend food, but there's still food out there.
Mm-hmm.
Some events coming up, and our big topic, Rise of the Resistance.
Ooh, ooh.
Or Rise of the Resistance.
Ooh.
With our buddy Cameron.
Yay!
Yay.
Hooray!
Good times. Daniel's hands were dancing. I wish everybody at home could have seen that. I don't know what was going on with his hands.
Oh my gosh.
But again, huge show. We'll keep it as brief. We're not going to keep it brief. What are we talking about?
Let's try.
We'll try, but it's a lot of show, everybody. So buckle up, get ready. Here we come with news.
News. News, news, news. News, news, news.
Dun dun.
News.
All right. We gotta get some jingles on this show.
We will. Our music woman is sick.
Our music director?
Yeah, she's currently sick.
She is very sick.
We'll get you guys soon. Don't worry, I promise.
Yeah. We're going to have jingles. It's happening. All right. So up first in news, we've got closures. Everything that we've talked about before. Still closed.
It's also closed.
Grizzly River Run is going to be drained for an annual refurbishment, and they're coming back on Valentine's Day.
It's already been drained. It is dry as a whistle.
Yeah, drained out. Back on Valentine's Day, February 14th. What else is closed down? Carthay Circle, the lounge, and
it'll be open in a couple of
will
days.
be opening up soon.
The Carousel is down. Snow White is down. Haunted Mansion is down. Those are the big ones that are getting quite a few things done to them.
Sailing Ship Columbia this weekend is closing for a couple days. Not too long.
No, they're just doing a quick little in and out.
But then the Bakery Tour is going to be opening up February 11th.
Get all your bread again.
Mm-hmm. And Jesse's Critter Carousel, they're going to be down towards the end of the month, but they're open right now. So get your last rides in.
Gotcha.
All right. What else in news?
The new Disney Vacation Club Tower at the Disneyland Hotel released concept art.
This is so exciting.
It's going to be pretty big.
So for those of you that don't know, there was a whole lot of shenanigans going on with a proposed new hotel at the Disneyland Resort. It was supposed to go out into the city. It ended up being in downtown Disney. Everything got scrapped.
Now they're saying that it is put on hold indefinitely.
Right.
And in quotes, there was a, do not worry, this is 2 separate projects. So
right.
Who knows what the heck is actually going on.
This one is actually the Disney Vacation Club Tower at Disneyland Hotel. And it's going to be, if you're familiar with where the Simba lot is, it's just between like the Simba lot and the Frontier Tower. And then back towards Walnut Street, which is the back of the resort.
Yeah. So if you've walked the grounds of the Disneyland Hotel, you'll know that there's like kind of a big like lawn area over there. From what it looks like in the plans, it looks like it's going about right there.
Yeah, and it's going to be a big one, 12 stories.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have a 2-story lobby with open air floor plan.
That's going to be pretty.
Bunch of rooms.
350 rooms.
And so it's like larger studios, which is the bulk of it, and then smaller 2-person studios. And then they also have 2-bedroom suites, and then some 1-bedroom suites and 2 grand villas.
Let's get that grand villa.
It's a lot of, it looks, I mean, we haven't seen anything, but as far as like their plans go, it looks to be something great.
Yeah. And then in addition to the rooms, they also included a Mickey-shaped spa and an outdoor pool bar.
Ooh, a pool bar.
Mm-hmm.
I know where I want to be this summer.
Yeah, too bad it's not open this summer. 2023.
That was my way to segue into it.
Yeah, so their proposed completion is 2023, but with the permits, they are saying that construction may take up to 4 years, which could delay that 2023 opening, but we shall see. Disney's been known to pull off some crazy deadlines, so.
Sometimes.
Yeah, other times they just drag their feet for as long as they want to.
Right.
You never know.
All right, so that's really exciting news.
Yeah.
And I think that's it for the news.
News.
We have some shout outs that I want to give. Everybody's been so great and supportive. All of our friends are just so excited about what we've got going on with this podcast. But there are a few folks that I want to say a special thank you to. Our top 4 listeners right now. This is really exciting for us because, we're going to Disneyland already. We're getting this information, for us as well. So, this is a fun thing for us, but it does cost a little bit of money.
A little bit.
Just a little. With all the research we're doing for food and merchandise, we don't have to buy it all, but it helps for the cause. It is costing a little bit of money, so we did start a Patreon. We pitch it at the end of our shows usually. But we have our first 4 subscribers this week.
Woohoo!
I know, I'm so excited. So thank you so much to Joy and Jen, and also our buddy Patrick and Karin, and Dam and Eric. Thank you so much for supporting us.
Thanks, guys. We love you.
And just so you know, these supporters, they're spending as low as $2 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to get you early access to our show, ad-free listening. And if you go up in the tiers, you'll see that you'll get like a free vinyl sticker. We've got a cool enamel pin that we're working on for our higher tier, and all kinds of really cool perks like a monthly entry in our giveaway. So a lot of cool stuff. And also it supports the cause. We're doing a lot of work and it's a blast, and we're going to continue to do it no matter what, but we'd really love your support. So if you want some more information, go over to patreon.com/Magic on Main Street. So again, thanks you to our friends, and let's keep doing it.
Yeah.
Going to take a little break.
You know what sounds really good right now?
What?
Chocolate covered strawberries.
That does sound really good.
Right?
Doesn't that sound good?
It sounds so good.
Good thing our friends at Sugar Crush Bake Shop are having a special for Valentine's Day.
Really?
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my. What are
the odds?
That is such a coincidence. Which brings us to our sponsor for this week's show, Sugar Crush Bake Shop. You can find them at Sugar Crush Bake Shop _ on Instagram. Our good friend Dam is a Le Cordon Bleu graduate, and she's whisking up treats for all types of events. And she's got all kinds of great stuff. Cakes and cookies and chocolate-covered strawberries. Macarons. And she's doing a little something different this year, so she's going to do the strawberries. But she's also going to be doing these little packaged treats, half a dozen conversation hearts, half a dozen of heart or circle-shaped macarons, or half and half of each.
And they're so cute.
Yes, they are. They're very, very cute. And she does great work. And if you want to impress your Valentine this year, give her a holler. Quantities are limited. So let's get those orders in now.
Heck
Again, Instagram, Sugar Crush Bake Shop _ or email her at sugarcrushbakeshop@hotmail.com. Nom nom cookie.
Nom nom cookie. We're back.
We are back. And we have
So
some
much
fun
merch.
stuff to talk about with merch.
So much merch.
It's never ending.
I'm gonna go bankrupt. I need to take out a second mortgage on our house.
Yeah. So we actually saw an entire collection of what they're calling retro Disneyland or totally tubular.
Yeah.
I'm calling it 80s dad. There's a collection that's ranging from $16.99 all the way up to $69.99. But they pre-discount. But they had a Spirit jersey, t-shirt, a 2-sided fanny pack, dad button up is what I'm calling it. But that's like $60 dad button up.
Whew, it's expensive and it's real ugly.
I'm not a big fan. We'll put up a collection on our Instagram of these ones. But they also have a tracksuit jacket, which is red. It says Disneyland all over it. Has a D emblem over the chest. And then they've got a full sweatsuit, gray sweats with like a retro Disneyland logo.
Mm-hmm.
They've got, this was interesting.
I want it.
Wait for it. They have this really cool sweatshirt with a pouch, but
so
it's
like
not
a regular hoodie, but
it's not
no
a
hoodie.
No hood. I thought that was really cool. And then they have this it's actually a really cool dad hat. I like it.
Your dad hat.
It's great. So that's the Totally Tubular collection, bro.
I like it.
What else?
There's some new card holders. So, like the little slim wallets that just hold like a couple cards in them.
Yeah.
They have like the little like strap with the button.
Yeah.
They released, I think like four or five different designs. Hang on, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. They released 5 different designs. They have a Haunted Mansion one. And like the little button part has the Madame Leota on it that they put on that Haunted Mansion phone case that has the pop socket.
No way.
Yeah,
I want
she's
it.
real cute.
Oh wait, I want everything.
True. They got a black and white Star Wars one that has like the stars looking like you're blasting off into light speed. There's a blue Mickey one that has a bunch of little Mickey balloons in different colors.
Okay.
A Mickey ice cream bar one that's got little brown ice cream bars.
Mm-hmm.
And a black and red Mickey Mouse one that has little Mickey ear hats on it.
Oh, fun.
They're really cute. $14.99.
I need a new wallet.
We need a new everything.
It's true. There was also some cool pins you just saw.
Yes, the Disney Princess Tiara pins. They're Disney Parks pins. Super duper duper cute. They did a Belle, an Ariel, and a Rapunzel. The Ariel tiara looks like it was designed after her little shell bra. It's got purple and pearls and a little bit of green intertwined in there. The Rapunzel one looks just like the crown, entangled, like exactly. It's super, super cute. And the Belle one is adorned with little red jewels and little roses on it.
Very cute.
And those are $12.99 a piece.
All right. We took a trip down through Disneyana this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who are collectors, we do talk a lot about merch, but if you're a collector of fine art or statues or anything like that, Disneyana is the place to go. If you haven't been there in a while, they've got a lot of really great stuff right now. So one of their, I don't know if you've been in there recently, they've been featuring Parks designer collection ears and headbands. Mm-hmm. And right now they've got one. It's by a guy named Dave Perillo or Dave Perillo. I'm sorry for butchering it, sir. So this one is actually the Disney Parks designer collection musical Mickey ear hat. So it's the classic cap with the Mickey ears on it, but it's got this kind of like 50s art.
It's a vintagey feel.
Yeah, vintagey Mickey Mouse, tall, lanky Mickey Mouse playing some instruments. Really cute. We'll put that up on our Instagram. Those are $58. So not too bad. When we got your Princess Leia ones, they were $85, I think. Yeah. So these ones aren't too bad. They also have kind of in the same style as this musical Mickey. They're not related, but it is kind of that same style where it's like a retro look. They've got the limited edition Minnie Mouse main attraction figure. So we saw this at Disneyon and also over at New Century Jewelers next to the Emporium. And it's a super cute figure. It's $119, but it's a really cute kind of homage to Main Street. And so on her skirt, it's like sketched out pictures of Main Street. It's pretty cool.
I like it.
Yeah, it's really cute. But that is limited edition. So if you want to get something like that, you got to get on it quickly. So again, New Century Jewelers, Disneyon, and Shop Disney had them. So give them a look. They have a lot of Haunted Mansion stuff still.
A lot.
Because it was the 50th. It is the 50th. And so they put out a lot of great merchandise, including statues. They've got some really great paintings. They had some light boxes, all kinds of really great stuff. But one thing that's standing out for me right now, and it's been there for a little while, so I don't know how long it's going to be there still, but they have a Haunted Mansion custom electric guitar, and it's actually in the vault. If you've been to Disneyana, you know right up front they've got like a bank vault. If you've not been to Disneyana before, go check it out.
With your life?
It's a really fun fixture because they put like this really exclusive item in the, a vault, and it looks really cool. So this Haunted Mansion custom electric guitar, it was made by Mineric Guitars in Las Vegas, Nevada, or Mineric. Mineric Guitars in Las Vegas, Nevada, but it was hand painted by a guy named Craig Fraser, and it combines brushwork and airbrush paintings, and on the front and the back, it's got blacklight effects. They only made 13 of these things, and they're really cool looking. They have inlays done with mother of pearl, abalone, and other semi-precious stones. And the guitar itself has the same number of hidden Mickeys as the guitar number suggests. So number 13 has 13 hidden Mickeys.
I love that.
Isn't that cool?
Much.
I really like that. And I was staring at this one. So it's the one that they're displaying right now is number 3. And I found 2 of them. I need to give it another look.
Good job.
Yeah, but it's a really cool deal. They also have on the outside of the case, they're numbered and signed by the artist Craig Fraser and the guitar builder Mark Mineric. I really like it. It's a little pricey though.
A little bit.
The front of it has the Haunted Mansion crest, kind of as a centerpiece, the Haunted Mansion in the background, and then the hitchhiking ghost up front. It's really cool. But this is not just a knickknack. This is a collector piece.
Yeah.
And this thing's running a little bit hot. It's $13,000 for this guitar. Yeah. So, but it's beautiful. It's great work. Very, very custom. So cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What else did we see? Oh, they had that Evil Queen stained glass.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah. So it's probably a couple feet tall.
Yeah.
It's what you would see in Fantasyland with the Evil Queen kind of looking through the window. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous piece. And then another really unique piece that I saw there was they have a kind of artsy castle picture, but it's actually a quilt.
It's really pretty.
It's really, really pretty.
It's also pricey.
Yeah. How much was that? About $3,000?
Yeah, like $2,800.
Yeah, $2,895, I think. Yeah, pretty pricey.
Steep.
But yeah, so again, these aren't just little collectibles. These are art installations in your home.
Yeah.
So that's why they're going to cost a little bit more. A little bit more.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Kenzie about how expensive it was because it was all real art and not just random pieces from Walmart. And then she said, "Oh, this one's only this much." I was like, "You're not allowed to say anything's only this much money until you have a job."
Not until you have a job, exactly. So yeah, what else? A lot of new watches out right now.
So many watches. There's some that are decently priced, and there's one that's up there, but it's really, really pretty, and it's Ellie, so it makes sense.
It's worth it.
So there's four or five different new watches. They came out. They have a rose gold and gray Mickey watch, which is really, really cute. That one's $64.99. A silver Mickey watch. It just has like little tiny Mickey Mouse heads on it. $64.99. There's a snack time one, which I really, really like.
It's really cute.
A pretzel, a donut, a Mickey ice cream bar, and a Dole Whip on it. Super cute. And it's got a red band. That one's also $64.99. There is a gold Mickey watch. It just has like a big old Mickey on it. And then for the different hour times, it's just little Mickey heads. That one is for $74.99. So that one's a little bit more expensive. They have an oh boy watch.
Oh boy.
Good job. I'm glad you did it because I don't do it very well. And that one's got Mickey, Goofy, Donald, and Pluto on it. That one's $64.99. There's a Minnie Mouse one that's got a little bit of sparkle to it. That one's at $54.99. A just traditional Mickey Mouse watch with a striped band, $54.99. And the one that I really, really, really like, and I think it's because it's very sparkly, is the Cinderella's Carriage watch.
Oh, that's really cute.
I like that one. It's got a lot of glitz and glamour to it. That one's one of the more expensive ones. It's $74.99. And then at the bottom of the list, they've got a castle one. That one's really, really cute too. It's got a daintier band on it. It's a lot thinner than the other ones, but it's really cute. And that one is going for $64.99.
Yeah, so those are all the I guess, regular like series of watch.
Yeah, it's the Disney Parks Jewelry Collection.
Yeah. But they also have a ton of Citizen watches, and those are between like $350 and $500. And well, up to actually the highest end right now that we saw was $895, I think, or $850. But they've got a Walt and Mickey Partners statue watch. It's like their silhouette. They've got a Minnie Mouse watch, black and diamond Mickey Mouse. They've got a Walt Disney signature and Cinderella Castle watch. So they're really pretty watches. But then to kind of round out that collection, we saw one of the prettiest watches I've seen there, which was a Snow White Disney Princess series of Citizen watches. And this one is Snow White. And it's adorable.
It's really, really pretty.
Yeah, I really liked it.
It's so expensive.
Yeah, it really is. But it's limited edition of 820. There's only 820 in the world. And it's got mother of pearl dial with gold tone hands, a charming vine and bird motif, and alternating diamond accent and gold tone markers. And then there's an additional diamond and red crystal accent along the bezel. And then on the back it's engraved and it says fairest of them all. It's super cute. But another reason this is a pretty pricey watch is because it's part of the EcoDrive series with Citizen. It's technology that harnesses not the power from the sun, but any light as a source of energy. So it never needs a battery.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's a watch that's definitely worth buying just because they make great watches. But this one is such a cute watch because, it's Snow White themed.
And we were talking with the cast member about it. One of the cutest parts of the watch is actually the box that it comes in.
Yeah, it's got a really pretty blue box, and it's got like gold inlay, and it's got some really pretty red crystals, and it's really pretty. They did a good job.
Yeah, I really, really like that one. If I could afford it, I'd get it.
Hint, hint.
Hey,
by the way,
Patreon.
Did you know that we have a Patreon?
Dumb.
But I always said, if we make enough money on this show, we will buy merch and give it away. Not all of it, but some of it. Yeah, so that's merchandise. And now it is time for Hidden Mickeys with the Kid. Hey, Kenzie.
Hello.
All right. So you've got a new Hidden Mickey for us this week?
Yes, I do.
So is this week's Hidden Mickey on an attraction?
Yes, it is.
And which attraction is it?
Peter Pan's Flight.
All right. Okay, so which section of Peter Pan's Flight?
In the London scene.
In the London scene. Okay, cool. So where exactly is it then?
It's on Big Ben.
Okay, so Big Ben sits in the middle of the room.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you see on Big Ben?
You see Peter, Wendy, Michael, and John. And if you look on the opposite side of them, above that clock face in the top window, you will see a full body Mickey.
A full body Mickey.
Yeah.
That's a very special Hidden Mickey. Because normally, folks, normally Hidden Mickeys are just a Mickey head, just the three circles.
Yeah.
So having a full body Mickey, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
That's a good find.
Yeah.
And you've actually seen this one?
Yes.
Awesome. So everybody keep an eye out on Peter Pan's Flight. It's a great attraction already. And now you know about one of the most exclusive Hidden Mickeys out there, a full body. Totally awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Kenzie Lee, thank you so much for joining us again.
You're welcome.
And that was Hidden Mickeys with the Kid. It's been kind of a slow week for food.
A little bit. I think, well, we just haven't gotten around to Lunar New Year foods yet. So once we get into that, we're going to be full.
Yeah.
But right now, we haven't really tried anything new.
That's not true.
You're right.
We tried the Toydarian swirl.
Green milk.
Green milk.
It was pretty good.
From the milk stand.
Yeah. It wasn't terrible.
I have to say, I will admit when I'm wrong. And I said that I would not enjoy this. I actually like this version better than the regular green milk. Which is saying a lot because I don't like chamoy. I don't like mango. It's just not flavors for me. And I really actually, I wouldn't say I enjoyed it. But I definitely liked it better than the regular green milk. But we also tried cheese puffs.
Yeah.
They're like garlic, Parmesan, cheese puff. They were
not my jam.
Carry gum or Altoids because they're stinky.
Not my
They're very stinky.
jam.
But the saving grace right now on Batu, that hot chocolate at Ronto Roasters. It's so good.
Is real bomb.
But you're a little bit sad this time around when we saw it this weekend because they weren't putting the shimmer on there.
I told you. They were going to get lazy and they did.
I know. But it's still delicious. Still the best cup of hot chocolate I've ever had. Yeah. One thing to keep in mind is they don't keep it very hot.
Nah, mine was ice cold before we got out of Fantasyland.
Yeah, so drink it quick. It's they serve it to you not scalding hot, so you can start drinking it right away. Something to keep in mind. Disneyland tip.
Bow.
All right.
What's next?
Events.
All right.
Yeah, so Food and Wine Festival starts on February 28th, towards the end of the month.
It's
and that runs through April 21st.
Long time with lots of food.
Lots of food. But they also just announced something very interesting.
Yes. The 2020 Disney Culinary Adventure Tour.
Yes.
So they'll be taking you backstage through one of the kitchens. They do advise, actually, on the event page, you need to wear closed-toed, non-slip shoes because you will be in a working kitchen. They don't want anybody falling on their bums.
Or any hot soup on your toes.
Soup? But it looks really interesting. But they are only doing it Wednesdays and Thursdays through the event at 1:30 p.m. and it's going to be $100 per person.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, I'd do it.
Yeah.
I can't get there on a Wednesday or Thursday at 1:30 because I work.
Yeah.
But I would do it if I could.
Sounds pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they're going to have a winemaker reception at Carthay Circle.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be 3 different days and 3 different vineyards. They're going to have Skywalker Vineyard on March 20th, Fess Parker on March 27th, and then Silverado Vineyard on April 10th. And that's going to be at 7 and 8 p.m. And that'll be $110 per person.
Heads.
But if you're a wine head and you want some fancy dancy wines from local and or famous wineries, this is it.
Mm-hmm. And they're also going to offer a whole bunch of different seminars throughout the duration of the event at Sonoma Terrace. They're going to be about wine, beer, mixology, all kinds of stuff. And we'll get more into that the closer we get to Food and Wine Festival because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on.
That's right. And speaking of food, the Lunar New Year celebration is going on still through February 8th. And that means food.
Yes.
And don't worry, we haven't forgotten.
We will be trying
It's coming.
it this weekend.
We're going this weekend. We're going to try the food. We're going to do the Sip and Savor Pass again. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a blast. And I can't wait. I'm getting my stomach ready.
Nom, nom.
It's going to be so great. Really exciting. Just something that was announced this past weekend. They're adding some more Disneyland After Dark events. And a new date was released. So August 27th, that's a Thursday, during Star Wars Celebration at the Anaheim Convention Center, they're going to have Disneyland After Dark Star Wars Night.
Woo!
I'm so really amped about this one.
Me too.
Yeah.
A lot of people are planning on going. So get your tickets.
Get your tickets. They have announced the date, but they have not launched
Released,
tickets yet. We'll keep an eye out for you. We'll post something on our Instagram. It might be a good idea. This is a good opportunity for you to follow our Instagram and turn on post notifications because we are breaking news sometimes. And this is going to be something you're going to want to know. So yeah, turn on post notifications.
You'll know
What's
as
it gonna
soon as
hurt?
we know.
You will. So speaking of Star Wars, we had a chance to talk to a great friend of ours about Star Wars Rise of the Resistance.
Hooray!
We're going to take a little bit of a break, but we will be right back to talk about this amazing experience that we had on Disneyland's latest attraction. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone. This is the special spoiler episode. Oh, warning.
Warning.
So today we're actually going to talk about Rise of the Resistance, the new attraction in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. We talked about the boarding groups and how to get involved with the ride, but now we're talking spoilers.
If you have not ridden the ride, turn me off now.
Yeah, this is your one chance. 5, 4, 3, 2. Darth Vader is Luke's father.
You didn't even say one.
That was a good spoiler.
Oh my god.
But we're not going to do this alone. We have a special guest today.
Dun, da, da, da.
So our good friend Cameron, he is also known as Sir Keggy on Instagram, and that is, I'm going to spell it for you. Let's do a spelling. At SIRKEAGGY.
What
That's
was
me.
that? You even did a dance.
Yeah, you got a jingle, bro. But anyway,
here.
welcome, Cameron.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. So Cameron is becoming the king of Batu. This guy is a lunatic. So I actually had the pleasure of meeting Cameron. What is it? 5 years ago now?
Yeah.
Yeah, at a Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. He actually introduced us to a little costuming club known as the 501st Legion. Talked me into buying my first TK Stormtrooper armor that day. And ever since then, we've just been kind of putzing around in plastic armor.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So we've had a chance to troop together. We met when you were living in Vegas, right?
Yeah, I was still in Vegas at the time.
Yeah, so we've had a rare opportunity to play dress up as Star Wars characters together, but most recently, this was just about a week and a half ago, I was invited to be on Cameron's crew for his 100th run on Smuggler's Run at Galaxy's Edge. And that was so much fun. We had such a good time. Had a lot of good conversation in the line, and then went and he killed it on the pilot right position.
That's right.
And then we had some fun over at Oga's Cantina. Played some sabacc.
Yeah. That was a good time. All of us learning that game for the very first time.
Yeah, I still think we're
Galaxy's
playing
Edge has been open since May of last year.
I know. I still think we were cheating, but it's. I mean, I won.
But that's part of sabacc.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm Harry.
Lando cheats, you know.
Oh yeah, I'll be the Wookiee. Well, you've got a pretty good Wookiee face too.
You know it.
But we invited Cameron here today because we would really like to talk about Star Wars Rise of the Resistance at Galaxy's Edge. It just opened on January 17th. We were complete lunatics and decided to camp out in front of Disneyland. You got there at 9 p.m.?
Yeah, well, just shortly after that, I had worked that day, got off work, headed and parked at a friend's place, walked over through downtown Disney, and I was there with my friend, and we were asking security, is like, all right, no one's here. Is it cool if I just like hang out at the main gate? And they're like, I mean, yeah, the Esplanade's open. I was like, okay, so I'm going to be here first in line. They're like, okay, have fun.
Yeah. So we were chatting. We were driving up, and I was chatting with you to make sure that we were going to the right place. We kept getting weird, different stories on how the queue was going to work and what that was going to be. So my intel got me word that the first 1,000 people in line were going to be put into a physical queue, and then the boarding groups were going to start in a virtual queue after that. That didn't happen.
Yeah, I had heard that too from someone when I was playing Boots on the Ground, and just kind of like trying to get as much info as I could, so it felt like, this rogue crew just being like, all right, what do you know? What do you know?
Exactly.
And I was getting bits and pieces from like different teams. I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be over here. It's like, no, it's going to be over here. I was like,
Well, yeah, because, I had heard that. And then I got a tweet back from Disneyland today, and they told me that Toy Story was going to be open at midnight. They never closed. So it was
they didn't even close.
Very weird. But we did finally get to the gate we got there around 11:30. You had already been camped out right on the gate, which was really cool. And then we laid out some blankets, and some of us slept. I didn't. I couldn't.
I got
my
about
eyes.
a 20-minute nap in.
Yeah. And Daniel.
I closed my eyes for a minute, but I never fell asleep.
No, and that was right at the end too. That was like right before we went in.
Yeah. At
6 a.m. I have to say though, we've done some campouts for Disney Pins over at the Soda Fountain, or
oh sure,
Ghirardelli, and we did kind of the same thing where we would get out there about midnight, stay up all night, and then hope to get in with a pin, a drawing for a pin console lottery. It felt very similar to that, except for this one went so fast. It didn't really feel like we were there for that long, and we were in line for 6 hours at the gate.
Yeah.
Well, you were there longer. But then once they opened it up at 6, we went and stood on Main Street like a typical rope drop. And that lasted for about 45 minutes before they put us out into the hub. It was chaos. It was a nutty time.
It was. And everyone was cold. It stopped raining by that point. But like you're already soaked at that point.
The rain. Yeah, and I wore thick socks because I'm like, my feet are going to be cold. And they never dried out. Never dried out. Yeah. They were wet the entire time. I got a blister on my foot. Tabitha and I were gimping around like, oh, it was so bad. It was just, but it was a fun time.
Not a good time at that point.
We were all staying pretty positive, well, except for Tabitha apparently. And we were
I couldn't feel my toes anymore.
Yeah, no, it was rough. But we explained the boarding group kind of in the last episode 6, and so with our experience, we were at the hub, and then about what time? It was like 7:45 when they opened up the spokes so we could go over to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, it was before like rope drop. They opened up because the hub was getting full.
It was
they kept getting full, and so they kept having to like, okay, let's just go ahead and open.
Yeah, and at that point it was all just kind of staying in theme and going to Galaxy's Edge, because it really didn't matter where you were in the park. As long as you were in the park, scanned into Disneyland, you could get into a boarding group. So we did end up walking over to the attraction,
which may not have been the best idea because Wi-Fi over there is terrible.
Well, yeah, it kind of drops off in a few different spots. But we also had, how many people we had? We had 13 people in our group, and a few of us had the boarding group in our phones. But eventually we just said, one person at a time. Cameron, you got the load screen to pop up. You hit boarding, or you hit join, and we got in at number 77.
Yeah. That was a thing. We had received word, like, they think of it like a Comic-Con panel, like trying to get lottery for those tickets. Like you have like multiple browsers open. And so everyone was sort of just assuming it's like, okay, everyone have everyone's passes on and like join group. And then literally 30 seconds before 8 o'clock, I got a message from a friend that was like, only one person in your group hit join group, otherwise it'll split the groups.
That's right.
And so I was like,
that's right.
Like, oh crap. And so
everybody stop.
But I still feel like it's a good thing to have multiple people having that. If you're with a boarding party, have multiple people open with it just in case the app crashes.
For sure, because
like whoever can hit joining group first.
Yeah, because my app crashes every time I get to the gate. It closes. So I was half expecting all of them to crash, but we made it in, because I think that day they were saying it was like 45 seconds that thing was closed.
Yeah, it was. Which is insane. It was a thing. Today, you could still book a pass up until park open. Rope drop was 9. You could still book a backup pass by 9:40.
Huh.
Like, it was dead.
Really?
I mean, But then the attraction went down. It 101 multiple times today, and they only got to group like 85, I think.
That's such a bummer.
So yeah, they closed down. What time was that they shut down today?
Well, park closed at 9. I think they just, at one point, they were just like, all right, that's all that we can do. And then just closed it down.
But totally worth it. We waited around. So, all in all, we were at Disneyland that day Tabitha and I were there for 21 hours, which means you were there for almost 24 by the time you left.
It was a long night.
Yeah.
It was a long
You made
day.
your own 24-hour night. But, the meat of it all is, we waited for, it was probably around, almost 6 o'clock? Is that what time it was when we finally boarded, when our number got called?
5:45.
5:45 is when we finally got our call. So this is it. Like, this is the ride from here on out. So if you're still listening and you haven't been on the ride yet, this is time to jump off.
Stop it.
So the first thing I wanted to acknowledge was the boarding process. Getting into the attraction was super easy.
Yeah.
Just like a Max Pass.
Yeah. It was great. They confirmed the party. They kind of filter you in. And then, there's a scanning part a little bit further in.
Yeah, and we kind of whizzed through the actual queue, the physical queue, which was, good and bad. We walked almost right onto the attraction, but we missed out on maybe a few picture opportunities because we were just flying through.
I've been on it 4 times, and I have yet to even open up the app to play like the mission
right
in the data pad on the Play Disney app, because I'm so focused on looking at everything.
Yeah, and there is a lot to look at. So I really recommend slowing down, because if you don't mind people walking in front of you, it doesn't really matter. Once you're in the queue, you're in the queue. You're not going anywhere. But the first thing that you see that I saw that was just so spectacular was that waterfall.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It kind of, to me, it was kind of reminiscent of like the Jungle Cruise, because you're kind of walking behind it.
Yeah,
and you're
backside of water.
Backside of water. I'll bet you.
No, it's gorgeous, and the amount of care that went into the aesthetics of this queue is just amazing. So they've got it's a dugout basically. So you're walking through dugout tunnels, and there's wires hanging from the ceilings, and there's one good thing that they did here, which it will come into play at some point in time, is they put benches in the walls.
Yeah,
that's unheard of.
And I've had friends that, like, the attraction went down for like 45 minutes, so they were like, oh, that's okay, I get to sit right here in the queue. Like, it wasn't bad.
No, it's pretty cool. I really appreciate what they did with the queue. But then once you start getting into the more of like the inner layer of the base, you'll see the typical Star Wars light up maps. It makes you feel like you're really there, and from there it just keeps getting better.
It was pretty cool. I did get to see so where the Fast Pass line meets up with the regular queue is right before the first show, like where you see BB-8.
Yeah.
There's that like one room where you guys took the picture in front of the like star map.
Yes.
That you basically Fast Pass, you walk through the arch up at the very front of Rise of the Resistance, and then it basically walks you in front of the waterfall.
Oh. And
then into that room. Like it's like maybe 500 feet.
Oh wow. They get people on pretty quick, though. I mean, I anticipate once they have like, I don't know. I don't know how long this boarding group thing is going to last, but if they ever have a full queue, like they can get people on pretty quickly, because we walked through, we took pictures of all the cool Star Wars, I can't say memorabilia, props. There's blasters and thermal detonators and, X-Wing, jumpsuits and just all this stuff. But yeah, then you get into that first showroom, and this is where everything goes kind of sideways in your mind, because then you kind of forget where you're at. You don't know if you're in real life or in a Star Wars movie.
Oh yeah.
This was probably the best way for me. They could have introduced this attraction with, our friendly little orange and white ball.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first thought when you walked in the first time?
for me, it was like, you know, I've been coming to Galaxy's Edge since opening day, and, you know, it's almost a year in the making, and not knowing anything about this attraction, but walking by it, you know, every other day that I'm there, and just being like, wow, there's so much back here. Like, it was huge.
Yeah.
Even just the queue, even before like the showroom starts, like I was like, wow, there's so much back here and so much detail.
Yeah. I mean, one thing you learn by the time you step off of that attraction is that stage is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
massive.
I can't even imagine where it starts and ends. You know, if I wasn't looking at it, I would be completely lost. The stage is gigantic, and they fit. And that being said, they still crammed a ton of content into this attraction, because what is it? It's like 15. What is it? How long did they say it is? 15 minutes to 20 something minutes, depending on like your experience with like the in life people.
Well, and yeah, and that's what I'm kind of curious on, where they actually start that timer. Like, is it that first room with BB-8? And then to when you're stepping off of the attraction,
Right?
Because that's kind of how it felt. Like even when you're kind of halfway through and you're sort of in a semi line, you're not really in a super long line.
No, because okay, so let's give a little bit of explanation here. So you come into a a portion of the base. You're still in the base, and BB-8 comes out to greet you, and you know he's alarmed for some reason.
He gives you a very long explanation.
Very long. He talks to you a lot. You know, some people can interpret better than others. Tabitha knew exactly what he was saying, apparently.
Yeah, I did.
But yeah, so BB-8 greets you, and then you're a little bit into it, and I think that's maybe to get people into that area. Maybe that's why BB-8 talks so long. I don't know. You've been on it more than once.
It is. So there, you can tell there's like strategies behind, like, okay, this is a loading portion, so that then we can get these people to funnel through. Like, because there's two BB-8 rooms,
Right.
and they're loading one after the other, so that, you know, then the next portion getting onto the shuttle, like, and then once that shuttle leaves, going to the next, like, there's different parts.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is very reminiscent then of the foyer in Haunted Mansion. So it's kind of, it's a little bit, you're waiting around for one of the sides to open, and then you have the show, and the show starts. And this one is followed up with a very, very convincing hologram of Rey.
Oh yeah. No, I felt like I was seeing Princess Leia, you know, talking to Obi-Wan Kenobi for the very first time when I was 7 years old. So I was like, this is a real hologram.
Yes. I mean, the only thing that made me realize that it's not a real hologram is just me being an adult and knowing that holograms are hard to pull off in real life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was like, okay, what Disney magic is this?
It was so convincing. I'm staring at this thing, and I'm in awe, because Rey is, I mean, you know, in some sense of the word, standing right in front of you. This character from this movie that you just watched is standing right in front of you. It's jarring almost how real it is.
Well, and there's what I've appreciated, having been on it a couple of times now, is noticing, like, there's always something to look at. So like that first time, I only paid attention to Rey, even though there were things going on the screens where BB-8 was.
Right.
But today when I was on it, I realized that while Rey is talking, what she is saying is being transcribed in Arabesh on the screen.
No way.
Like, what little I know of Arabesh and like what couple letters I can pick out just really quickly, I was like, wait, literally what she's saying right there is going across the screen in Arabesh. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
That's really cool. And yeah, so it's at one point, who comes up on the screen? It's Poe.
Well, you see Nib-Nub, from Return of the Jedi. He's there as like one of the pilots for the shuttlecraft, and then Lieutenant Beck is the Mon Calamar alien that is there, and then they bring on Poe as saying like, "Hey, I see you guys are the newest recruits. Like, good to have you with us. Let's get you in the face."
So cool, and right away you are now part of the Resistance. You are now part of the team, and it's you just feel like so inspired at that moment.
It gives you a sense of responsibility.
I know. I was like, I'm at work right now. Like, I have to get this done. I have to save the Resistance.
Yeah.
This was not a game to me. This was real life in that moment. And then,
absolutely.
So that really ushers you into the next portion of the ride, which is insane. You go from from a building to the outdoors. You're now outside, and you're greeted by a beautiful X-wing.
Well, that's the thing. We had heard that you would get to see Poe's X-wing somewhere on the attraction.
Yeah.
I never really knew where. I'd try to peek through. I was like, I wonder if it's over there. I wonder if it's over there. And then you see it, and you're like,
there it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you see BB-8 right there, and you can kind of see his head in the cockpit and.
Yeah, because I mean, he is now, BB-8 is now, he became kind of the storyteller for the beginning. He now ushered you outside, and he's taking you with him on this mission. He jumps in his X-wing. Now you got to go get on your shuttle transport, which is where everything just kind of crumbles in my life.
Man, that would and the way we reacted, like the Resistance person was like, "All right, go," and we just ran.
Yeah, I mean,
just a bunch of troops. It was so great.
There was an urgency there. They're like, "Get on your transport, let's go," and we're hustling, and we're trying to take in the sights of the X-wing. And what was the other? There was another craft out there, wasn't there? What was out there? Or is it just the shuttle?
It's just the shuttle and the X-wing. There are some crates off to the side,
right?
That you can see, but yeah, it's just those two shuttles.
Okay, yeah. So you get on this trooper transport basically, and it's this. So I'm going to give my advice first on this. Once you get into this room, don't stop looking around. I guess there's
no, yeah.
Because you can miss a lot. If I hadn't been looking for everybody's reaction because I was so excited, I might have missed out on the fact that there was stuff going on in the back of the transport too.
No, and that's the thing. I've now ridden it towards the front, in the exact middle, and then towards the back. And then what I do appreciate is there's multiple screens from multiple different directions. So, for example, when you see Poe or Blue 5 or Red 2, their screens and during the firefight, towards the front, and you're looking at Lieutenant Beck and you're looking out of the front viewport, you can kind of see them to the left and the right. But if you're in the back, you see them on screens. So no matter where you are, you see what's going on there. But yeah, no, I almost completely missed out on the rear viewport until my second time. I ran to that back part and just watched that.
Yeah, and it's amazing. So basically, when you come into this room, you're getting onto a transport. The transport takes off. Lieutenant Beck is flying you, and you basically are, leaving Batuu. At this point, you come under fire by the First Order, and there's TIE fighters. Wait, was it TIE fighters at that point?
Yeah, the First Order TIE fighters.
So they're, the TIE fighters are chasing you. They're firing at you. You're taking hits. They're your compatriots are in other shuttles or X-wings, and they're getting fired upon, and you're in a battle. And this is a very Star Tours-esque ride system at this point. So you're feeling every bump, every movement, every hit, and you're really in a dogfight.
But not strapped down. We're
strapped down.
So it's not super bumpy, but it's enough to where you're like, whoa, I'm in space right now.
Yes,
because at one point all of us kind of just looked at each other and went, "Are we moving?
Yeah. It was nuts.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Cameron. You're not strapped down. You're not tied to anything. You can walk around the entire shuttle. It's not huge, but it's about the size of a Star Tours compartment.
I'd say so. Yeah. Kind of that size shuttle, but that's what was. And there's areas where like rails that you can sort of hold on to,
right.
And when my buddy Jim and I were towards the back of the transport, we sort of like leaned our arms up against the viewport, like we were kind of, resistance fighters, just, casually on a troop transport, as you do.
Right. Well, and it's funny you say viewport. You're not looking at a screen when you're in there. When you're in this shuttle, you truly think you're looking out a window.
Oh yeah. And at night, it's nighttime. And today I got to ride it during the day, and it's daytime. So like, it reflects. It's just like Smuggler's Run. Smuggler's Run does the same thing, but like it was a completely different experience.
Oh, that's so cool.
Riding it during the day, because then I could see more of Black Spire Outpost as we're flying away from it.
Very cool. That's great. I can't wait to get on it again. I'm hoping to get there this weekend. But yeah, so you take you're taking this shuttle and you get into a dogfight, and then all of a sudden things start going south. You're in a tractor beam, and if there are a lot of things that I wish happened to me from the Star Wars world as a child, as an adult. I never thought I'd get so excited about being caught in a tractor beam.
Oh yeah.
Because you really feel, with all the environment, everything going on around you, really feel like there's a sense of doom when you find out that you're in a tractor beam.
Yeah. Well, and you can kind of, what I really appreciated, the Lieutenant Beck animatronic, you can kind of see his sense of like fear. Like, it's weird saying about an animatronic, but that moment of like, okay, guys, this is happening. We're getting captured. Like, don't say anything about the base. Like, we've tasked you with this important thing. Don't spill the beans.
Yes. And we were even yelling at each other, like, don't say a word. Like, we don't know what's going to happen outside of this door. Do not say a word. But you're talking about the expressions on his face. That brings up a very good point. This is the second, I guess. The second of many animatronics that you're going to see on this attraction. They look so real.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't even tell. There was one point, and we'll get to that when we get more deeper into the attraction. There was one point I thought it was an actor. I was shocked to find out that it wasn't. So you get pulled into a tractor beam, and then there you are. You're on a First Order Star Destroyer.
Well, and this is one of my favorite parts, because now that I've done it a couple of times, everyone assumes that we're going to be exiting the door opposite that we entered. So everyone's looking in the wrong direction.
It's like when you get into a two-sided elevator. You know what side you're getting out on.
Yeah, you're like, oh, yeah, it's obviously we came in from this side, so we must be going out from that side.
Right.
And then it opens up, and you turn around, and you're like,
the same side
is not the
you
case.
started on. The same side you started on. That was, I love that you said that, because we've been talking about this ride to as many people that will listen that have already been on it, because we don't want to spoil it for too many people. But that gets brought up a lot. What a mind trip that was, because they purposely put in those doors. They put those in knowing what they were doing, and you get out on the same side, which it might not sound like a lot, but imagine you get onto this shuttle, you take a flight, and then the door that's supposed to be an exit isn't a door. It's just...
Yeah, and all of a sudden you turn around and there's an officer waiting for you.
And there's an officer waiting for you.
Yeah.
It's... So the First Order's just waiting with open arms for you to come aboard and enjoy a nice stay aboard their ship. And it was almost frightening how great these cast members were.
Well, and that room alone is huge.
It is, and it's so funny because it's such a... It's a backdrop. There's not much that goes on in there other than, it's kind of a staging area, but it's a backdrop, and the amount of space they took up to put in an entire platoon of First Order stormtroopers is insane.
And it's reminiscent of Return of the Jedi, when like Darth Vader visiting the second Death Star, the Emperor coming, like that's how I felt. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, definitely not a warm welcome. It was huge. It was insane. A huge room. I mean, how many stormtroopers do you think are in there?
Easily easily 50, maybe 100. Like, I mean, there's so many of them.
Yeah, and the great thing about it is you walk in and you go, oh, look at these mannequins. Look at these figures standing here, right? And then all of a sudden, one turns its head, and then another one shifts, and then another turns its head. And you're like, holy crap, these are real people. There are people in costumes right here. So, and you could tell me they were, and I would believe you, because it was so trippy how they just had these subtle little head twitches or turns or movements, and you're like, these are real stormtroopers. And they
it felt that way so much, and I appreciated, like, they weren't all carbon copies of each other.
No.
Like, some of them are different heights,
Yes.
which I appreciated, because this is beyond the Clone Wars, and they're not all the same size. And but yeah, some of them, like one of them, like sort of like raised his blaster a little bit.
Yes.
Like one of them, like, I swear I was like looking in one direction and he just turns and looks right at me. I was like, oh damn, he saw me. Like, like he's looking right through me.
Yes, I know. And this wasn't the first time, but there were many times during this attraction that this noise was heard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That absolutely. Well, and what's crazy is, so I was able to go into this attraction completely spoiler free. Hadn't seen anything except for pictures
that
of that room. Even though I had seen pictures of that room, it did not prepare me for just how epic.
Not even a little bit.
Same.
Not even a little bit. It was so. See, I saw that picture. Give me 24 times. Since Florida opened. Walking into that room, it was as if I didn't even see it before. It was 100% shock. And then you throw in the fact that these stormtroopers are now moving. They're in motion. They're living creatures, and you're freaking out.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember you specifically. We were sort of like shuttled off to the side towards the like interrogation room, and we're down that hallway, and I remember you being like, I could not get on the ride and be satisfied. Like, everything that we've experienced up to this point,
I did say that.
Unreal.
Yeah,
Unreal.
I fully believed that. I could have walked off the attraction at that point and been 100% satisfied.
Yeah. The immersion was just, we were on a freaking Star Destroyer.
Yes.
Like, we were about to get interrogated by the First Order.
Yeah. And you know, like I had said a bit ago, the dedication that these cast members have to the character of First Order officers, bravo. Hats off to them.
The training they've gone through. Like,
And I hope everybody maintains the magic on this ride. I hope nobody gets jaded and stops presenting this character that they have built up, because you would believe that you had, the likes of General Hux talking to you, because they were so rude.
Yeah.
Just so rude. And so, they could spit on you and you wouldn't even be upset, because they hate you that much because you're Resistance and they're the First Order. And it was just so refreshing to see cast members like taking that much interest in their attraction, because you get it a lot around Disneyland, but it's just like any other business. There's some bad apples. So it was really good to see so many great cast members just taking it all in, playing a part, and making you feel like you were truly, about to be interrogated by the First Order.
Yeah.
Which that was actually the next portion of the attraction. You walk around and you're now being kind of pulled from your groups and put into. It was chaos. I mean,
you're in interrogation groups after that.
Well, yeah, because we had a group of 13, as we had said, and they started like separating us. And it was like, but I'm supposed to be with this person, and it was like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go, but they were like,
if we don't
get in line.
care.
I don't care. Get in line.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like face forward. Like, don't look at me. Like,
memorize your color.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. And then they make you memorize the color that you're standing on. I'm like, well, wait, what is this going to do? And what if I forget?
Why do I need to know?
Well, and I have to sort of skip forward. I've noticed, because the whole color thing is so that you know which row you're on when you get onto the ride portion of it. Oh. And I've noticed that people don't pay attention to that. And today I experienced someone wanted to sit in the front, and so they just immediately went to the front. And then like the Resistance person was like, "Wait, what color were you?" And he's like, orange. He's like, yeah, you're not in the right row, bro. Like, get in the
Oh,
back.
I didn't even
Like,
notice that. Okay.
Me either. I don't
Yeah.
think any of us did
No,
the first
I
time
was
because we all
kinda
were just like,
confused.
okay, we're running, we're getting
Great,
in our seats,
fine,
we gotta
red.
go.
Yeah. But yeah, so you're basically at that point awaiting interrogation, and they are going to get the information out of you, and they're not going to let you forget it. So once you're on your spots and they've broken you into your interrogation groups, you're taken into a small interrogation room, and it is frightening.
Oh yeah, it feels like an escape room with no windows, no doors. Like, it is
Yeah.
terrifying.
Everybody was trying to like pry panels off to get us out of the room. I was like, I don't think we're supposed to touch any
and
of
it's
this
so
stuff.
funny because it was like probably the worst part of the attraction for it to shut down, and we actually broke down when we were in that room. And so
We all thought we were supposed to be doing something to get it to turn back
well,
on.
because General Hux comes out and he has some words with you, and then shortly after that, you're first approached by Kylo Ren, and they're up on a kind of a platform above the interrogation room. They are they're projected up there, so it's it's as if actors are walking back and forth, very realistic, and I love the touch with Kylo Ren's mind trick.
Oh yeah. How the lights go completely dark and you feel the room.
it like goes.
It's his weird, and it's so hard to describe that sound, but his weird jarring force noise.
Yeah.
It's like your body's shutting down. It's like your whole body echoes, and it was so jarring. Well, so they come out and talk and say they're going to come interrogate you, and then everything is silent. No noise.
What's supposed to happen now?
What do we do? And then you hear there's some sort of breakout happening, and you're being freed. And then all of a sudden, the door lights up as if it's being melted open, and then silence again. And this silence went on for a while. The attraction broke down right at this point. So we're thinking this could be part of it. Maybe it's an escape room.
Such a
was
dumb
the dumbest thought in the world. And so, I mean, I literally almost pushed the button by the door that said,
no,
stop something. It said stop something. And I'm like, do we push this? Where do we go from here? But I have to give it up again to these cast members, because they came in finally after a little while, after we had pushed every button in the building and tried to pry things off the walls. A cast member came out, but still as a first order officer, and just made us feel even worse about ourselves, put us back on our lines, and then we ran through it one more time. Luckily, we got lucky. It came back up. So
only maybe a 5-minute delay.
Yeah,
would you say? Like,
not a big
it was not bad.
So we, fortunately, unfortunately, whatever. It was our first time, so seeing it twice was not a big deal. They ran us through the show again of General Hux and Kylo Ren kind of saying they're going to come and get us to interrogate us, when all of a sudden the door is being melted open. It looked like I couldn't tell what they were trying to go for at that point, because I didn't know what was happening. I couldn't tell if they were going for like a lightsaber effect or just somebody burning through a door. It
was that side wall. Yeah. Like, if you didn't know what was going to happen, which we didn't originally, and so that's why when we see it, because it was just a resistance fighter that sort of like cuts open the wall. He's probably using some kind of like vibroblade or like some kind of, some kind of thing that's melting the wall. Like, I mean, like, we were all screaming. We were like, "What the hell?" Like, my god!
Since we had seen the show once because of the breakdown, Cameron standing directly in front of this piece of wall that starts to light up. It looks as if Cameron is burning through the wall with his fingers, and then you couldn't have timed this better. You force push the wall away from you and slid it over, and I was dying. I was laughing so hard.
It was perfect.
It was as if you knew this was happening.
Well, and that was the thing. It was like, okay, well, we already know this is going to happen. I might as well have some fun with this. Guys, I got this.
It was, and a lot of times people like to be a part of the show on attractions, and you're like, dude, you're not part of the show.
You don't work here.
Because they always want to ruin something. I have to say, watching Cameron literally burn through a wall with his fingers and then force push it away, it just added to the attraction. So I think Cameron has to be on every boarding group.
I'll just be the plant that's like, oh guys, I got this. Well,
Exactly.
What was crazy, it's interesting how they sort of hold people in different areas. For example, when we first went into that room, like General Hux, like there's a stormtrooper there and he's like, all right, we've secured the prisoners, and General Hux
Right.
came out pretty quickly.
Right.
There was another time I was on it where General Hux wasn't coming out. Like we were in there for a good 45 seconds before Hux came out, and the trooper started like fidgeting.
Yeah. That happened when we were on it.
That happened with
It
us
did.
too.
Yeah, and it was funny because he's like, and it's something, as 501st members, as stormtroopers would know, it's a very familiar sound.
I could hear the clicking.
You could hear the clicking of the plastic. You could hear everything kind of adjusting. All
Yeah.
of the undersuit was kind of like, it sounds like leather moving and then plastic clicking. It was like, I know that sound. That's a real sound.
Well, and today I heard a different delay in that room where like General Hux and Kylo get called to the bridge, and then when you start hearing someone on the other side of the wall, like you hear the audio of like a resistance fighter being like, hey, like give me the torch or like something like that, and they're like sort of banging on the wall. We heard like an extended version of that where they were like still trying to figure out how to get through. Like, I guess they were still not quite ready for us, but Hux and Kylo had already done their thing. Kind of like how Hondo like keeps talking, he won't shut up. Like once you're done with the ride, he's like, "Oh, this happens sometimes." And you're like, "All right, we get it. We're just waiting to unload."
Right. We understand. No, that's very cool. I love those little touches. But this is where everything starts getting very chaotic because your wall has just been blown off or whatever, and now you've got a resistance fighter that's like rushing you and like go, getting you onto the what are they calling these cars?
I've been calling them the little like droid transport because you've got the little R5 unit like driving you.
Yeah, so it's 2 rows of 4. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I don't even remember now. Yeah, 2 rows of 4, and there's an R5 unit at the front that drives you. And
there's like 2 different pods.
2 pods, exactly. So 16 people. Oh, sorry, that's my chair. So 16 people at one time, and you're kind of you're not side by side the entire time, but you're kind of in this Luigi's attraction dance where the floor is, it seems like, and I think this ride system now is the magnetized floor with the sensors. RFID. And so you're really just gliding almost like a hover car over the floor. You're kind of going twisty turny around each other. Sometimes you're next to each other. Sometimes you're on completely opposite sides of a room, and sometimes you're on opposite sides of a barrier.
Yeah. That I got to experience the other side today.
Okay.
So I got to see something else that happens.
And so is it split? So we went on the front car the first time. So you're saying you were in the back car?
I was in the back car.
Okay.
And I'll talk about the differences when we get to that point. But what I didn't ever realize, remember when you first pull out of that room where we loaded, we pass carts that don't have people in them, but they're like other droids like talking.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I didn't catch this the first time, I guess because I was just going crazy, but those are the ones that then go into that room to then load the next boarding party. Because I was like, why aren't there people on that one? Like there's other rooms that are loading, but then I was like, well, somehow there's got to like, so that we sort of like switch places with those ones.
Okay.
And then the 2 droids are like talking to each other, like, hey, what are you up to? And
okay. That's pretty cool. Okay, cool. So yeah, past that first room, you start kind of twisting and turning through the First Order Star Destroyer. And it's pretty quick where you're put into a larger room, which looks like kind of like a cargo bay kind of area. And you're, face to face with, was it 2 AT-ATs?
Well, before that, there's the Imperial probe droid.
Oh, right. That's right. There's
the probe droid.
The huge and scary.
Then you're sort of going like what looks like, okay, we're going to this hangar, but then there's like stormtroopers up
Right.
above.
That's right. And they start shooting
That was
out
one
with
of my.
you.
They start firing at you, and there's portions of the wall that literally disappear.
Yes. So
Like-
this is where your mind starts going, this is real life. Blasters are real.
Oh yeah.
Because they literally shoot. There's sparks, and then literal pieces of the wall are missing. And it's like, did I just see that wall get shot up? And it's not, it doesn't look like blaster marks, or it doesn't look like a blaster mark effect. It looks like blaster marks.
Yeah.
It was
It was unreal.
a trip. And so you're now kind of on the run from First Order stormtroopers, and you're trying to make your way through, navigate through with this R5 unit the innards of the Star Destroyer. And
then that's when that's the first part where you guys, the two different transports sort of split.
yes,
Or no, is that before or after the AT-ATs?
You split after the
that's
AT-ATs.
after the AT-ATs.
The one with when you see Kylo and Hux on the bridge.
Yes, that's where you split. Yeah, because you're in that you're in the first room. There's the
You see the AT-ATs, and then you see you see the AT-ATs. You split. You guys go up two different directions. When you meet again is when you go up, and you're right behind.
To see Kylo.
right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay,
That's right. That's
so
right.
going back, so you go through a room. And you're first approached by a probe droid, and you think everything's fine. And then all of a sudden, there's stormtroopers, and they're shooting at you, and they're making holes in the walls, and the blaster marks look as if they are real, and you feel like your life is in danger. Not really, but you know what I mean. And then that is when, after that first round, I think it's just a couple stormtroopers. That's when you're in the room with the AT-ATs, and these things are massive.
Yeah. Whoa. And every single time I've been on it, there's like everyone's reaction is the same. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
They are.
And it's kind of
massive.
short-lived though, because I remember right after that, the stormtroopers come back, and now you're getting shot at again.
Yeah.
There's many.
You're
of them
trying to.
now.
You're trying to. So the first few times that we went on it, we sort of make our way towards the front of the left AT-AT, and then that was another part of the ride system. You see that's the first time you see Finn.
Yeah, he's hiding behind the pillar.
The Finn animatronic is
Yes.
hiding behind that panel.
Yeah, so you kind of get
I thought that
backed
was a real
into. So you're being fired upon by all these stormtroopers, and you're backed into an elevator system
a
now.
lift,
It's
yeah.
a lift, like on Tower of Terror. You lock into an elevator system. It raises you up, and you look down to your left, and this is the one I was talking about earlier. I was like, is that an actor?
I thought it was a real person.
Because Finn comes out from behind some barrels. He's dressed in a stormtrooper armor without his helmet on, and he's got a blaster. He's firing away. But I literally thought it was a real person.
Yeah, I did too.
And
And that's the portion of the ride that you get two different experiences. Our first experience, I think I like better. I think it was more epic. Like, because we rise up and we're literally face to face with the cockpit of the AT-AT, and you see the AT-AT drivers.
yes, in the cockpit's red, and there's a couple drivers in there. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then that's when you're like the droid's like, oh, we gotta go, and then you see the AT-AT turrets like locking onto us.
And everybody flips.
Everyone's like, no, and then you just hear the AT-ATs firing at us, and you see things all over. Just it's
All over
going
the walls.
nuts.
And I remember at this point I was cracking up because, most of the time I'm like, very serious and like, this is really happening. But I remember at this point I laughed because when you look into the cockpit of the AT-AT, there's the two pilots and they go, like, I can imagine their conversation was like, whoa, dude, there's people over there.
Yeah, we gotta take them out.
They're like, oh my God, get them. And I'm laughing because it was almost comical, their movements within the shuttle. And yeah, it was pretty funny. I was dying on that one. So go ahead.
And just before, that's you're getting shot at from there. On the other side, so today I got to experience the other side when you load from the back pod. You're going under that AT-AT, like between the legs, and blast doors like close, like they block you off from that. So then you back up and you're to the right of the two AT-ATs and you get lifted up from there. Before you get lifted up, you see Finn from a different perspective.
Right.
So he's like crouched down behind something.
Okay.
Yeah. He's shooting from there. You come up, and the side of the same AT-AT that the other one comes from.
Yeah.
There's like a first order officer and a first order like heavy gunner. They see us and they point. It's like a screen. They see us and point, and the heavy gunner, he pulls out like a turret. Like he's going to fire on you guys. So you're not fired upon by the AT-AT, but you have a heavy turret like coming at you.
Very cool.
So then the droid's like, we got to get out of here.
Okay, so you said that about the droid. Was he talking?
The droid, I mean, nothing that we can understand.
Right, but he was making noises the entire time?
He was making noises. Like, he would turn and face us. Like, guys, we got to get out of here.
Okay. I couldn't hear in the second row. I couldn't hear any of his noises. Or maybe I couldn't. I just didn't pay attention because I was so lost in everything.
I'm fluent in
There's a lot going on, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I didn't hear those noises. So, he is talking then. Well, when I say talking, I mean beep, boop, bopping. Okay, so then, but at this point, so now one side has gone up the elevator and been fired upon by the AT-AT, and a wall in front of you as you're trying to escape is just like decimated. It gets blown up quite a bit. So then you're saying the other car then joins up right around here.
Yeah, that's where. So as you're coming around and you see the other car, and then that's where we sort of like sneak our way onto the bridge.
Right, and this is a really cool. Okay, so it didn't work on our first trip, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I didn't think that was what was supposed to happen because I remember. Yeah. Okay. So we join up. We're on two sides of a partition, and we're on the bridge of the Star Destroyer. And if you can imagine in your heads, if you're thinking back to like Rise of Skywalker or Last Jedi, when they're on the bridge, there's kind of like a catwalk down the middle where you get to the front of the bridge, and then on each side it's kind of like a little orchestra pit on each side. So we actually take our droid transports into the little quote unquote orchestra pits, and standing in front of you is Kylo Ren and General Hux, and they're both looking out into space from the bridge.
What are they talking about at that part?
I don't remember.
Well, so going back to the interrogation room, Hux sees like an alert on his panel to the side, and he's like, "We're needed at the bridge." And then they're coming, and then we see them on the bridge, and Hux and Kylo are like arguing, and Kylo's like, "You need to raise the shields." And he's like, and Hux is like, "Why?
Like, why would we do that?"
There's no reason. And then all of a sudden, Poe Dameron comes back with like an entire fleet of resistance fighters and spacecraft, and then Hux is like, "Oh crap, sound the alarm!"
Right?
Like, we gotta go.
And they come in, and that scene was really cool because it reminded me of, if you've seen the Rise of Skywalker, the part where all of the ships start popping in to come in and save the day. It's pretty much that scene where just all these starfighters start popping in out of light speed, out of hyperdrive, and it's amazing how many they fit onto that little screen.
Yeah. And then from there,
that's when Kylo,
because Hux like turns around. And he's like, "Oh, I see you guys are trying to escape. Not in my house."
Right.
And then that's when you back up. You're like, "Oh, crap."
So at that point, Kylo Ren turns around, right? We didn't see that part when we went.
Yeah, he looks at both, because there's that partition in between both of us still. Yeah. Like, where both pods are in the different orchestra pits. He turns to one and then turns to the other. And he's like, "You guys are foolish for thinking you could, escape. Like, you guys are crazy." Yeah. We
missed that part, unfortunately. But we did hear what he said because he didn't move. Yeah. So I guess the animatronic was down on that trip. But after that, he kind of chases you, but now he's basically running at you with his lightsaber out, Vader choke hand out outreached at you, and he's kind of chasing you at this point.
Well, in that effect, I kind of got the same feeling when you see, oh gosh, is it Mac? What's Lightning McQueen's truck's name?
Yeah.
Is it Mac?
Yeah.
Like on Radiator Racers, when you're coming down inside for the very first time, and then you see Mac's lights come on for the very first time, you're like, whoa, that's a very big trunk right there. Like the way those lights come on, like that was very like, whoa, what's going on? And then to see Kylo activate his lightsaber right there,
and he's coming at you, and we were all like, whoa, like, oh, he's coming at us, like it's coming.
And luckily, we then back up into that elevator,
and the door closes, right?
Yeah, the door closes. You're like, oh, phew.
But this is where it gets even more frightening.
Oh, this was terrifying.
Go ahead and say it.
I mean, so yeah, we're in this elevator, like, going down, and then all of a sudden, Kylo's lightsaber comes down from the ceiling and starts cutting a hole.
Literally cutting a hole.
It's there.
Yeah, it is cutting into the elevator.
I can't, the only way I can really describe this portion of the ride is imagine a lightsaber cutting a hole in the ceiling. I mean, that's the only way you can describe it. It was there. That is exactly what was happening. If I didn't know better, I could imagine, I could see that as being a real thing.
Yeah.
If I didn't know better.
It looked very real.
It looked so real. And you're looking up at this lightsaber like that thing could cut my head off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was really bummed because today the effect wasn't working. Like we got onto the elevator and the saber and the hole is already there, but the saber's not on. So like my friend that I was with, like I just didn't point it out.
Yeah.
We were just like, oh, we're just on an elevator, and like, oh, there's this weird like thing sort of sticking out from the ceiling, but like it didn't really matter. I was like, well, oh man, like that takes away from like that fear part.
It was frightening. I mean, it was really. It's a scary portion because you're looking at this thing that cannot be real, but it's happening right in front of your eyes. It's a lightsaber coming through the ceiling, cutting a literal hole, and the way they pulled off this effect. I mean, it was the most superb effect. It's my favorite part of the whole ride.
It was so cool. And I it's funny, like thinking back all the different parts, it's like, okay, it can't get any more epic than that. Like this is just, they're throwing so much at us. Yeah. And then the very next room, you're like,
I was like, and then you're face to face with Kylo Ren again.
So this is where it gets kind of almost. I mean, this is where it's like it's the scene in The Rise of Skywalker when the Emperor opens up the ceiling and you can see kind of hope is almost lost because your crew is being fired upon and your ships are being shot down, and you're seeing all this happening through this huge window as you go through this corridor, and there's TIE fighters shooting down all of your resistance ships, and you're actually almost being hit by giant turrets that are firing from the Star Destroyer.
You're literally playing cat and mouse with these 3 giant turbo lasers. Like it fires and it kicks back, and then the droid's like, "Oh, okay, here's my window. I'm gonna go through." And then another one fires, and you're like, "Oh crap, we just missed it." Like,
and the way they pulled off this effect to make it look like those turbo lasers are actually firing outside of that opening is just, man. The thought that went into this attraction is just it never stopped.
Right.
But then you're finally put face to face with Finn. Well, not face to face, but
you see him on a panel, which I did find. I was trying to find it. I was talking to my friends in Orlando. There's a hidden Mickey on that panel.
Oh.
On Batuu East, and I got an exact location of where to find it. I did not see it on Batuu West.
Okay.
I wanna look at that panel where you see Finn. That's where I was told there's a hidden Mickey.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know because that's...
put the kid on that one.
Yeah, put the kid on that one so we can do hidden Mickeys with the kid. Batuu edition. That's awesome. But yeah, so at this point, so from the point that you're on the bridge until, up until right now, you're in this like fear mode. You're being chased. You're trying to outrun Kylo Ren, but it didn't work. Now you're face to face with him. He's standing right in front of you.
And he's big.
And he's big. And he's playing DJ with the cars. He's
Yeah, kind of like hovering. Like, yeah.
So he's got his hands out and he's you can feel the cars moving. He's using the force. He's pulling the cars to him, but we're, kind of escaping from him, but he's doing everything he can to use the force to pull the car to him. But luckily, Escape.
Well, you hear the incoming TIE fighter that's like spinning out of control, and you're like, "Whoa, that's weird." My friend was wearing mouse ears, like Mickey ears today, and that effect, like the ears blew off.
No way.
Yeah, because it's the effect that you're facing Kylo, and then the TIE fighter like knocks out the part of the ship that's directly behind him.
Right.
So there's like high-powered fans blowing behind us towards him as if we're being sucked out into the atmosphere.
Yeah. Boy, was it realistic.
My friend's ears literally, like, she had to like catch them as they were falling off her head.
That's insane.
Hence effect.
This effect was brilliant. It really felt like you were being sucked into space.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's how you break grasp from Kylo, right. And because he has to now figure out. He's like flailing about. He's like, crap.
And he takes it's hard to see if he like takes a hit or not, but a wall kind of collapses right in front of him. So that's what really gets you out of harm's way.
Grasp.
Yeah. So you pull out, and what happens in this next room? This is where I get a little bit iffy.
This next part. It's literally where the drop pods are.
It is the drop pod.
So
okay.
You load into these drop pods.
You can hear it lock in.
Which is so funny because you know what's coming.
Yeah, you're like,
I am now on a drop system.
This doesn't feel right.
So yet another system on the ride, and you know what's happening.
Yeah.
And
if you watched the last episode of Imagineering Story on Disney Plus,
we did not.
I made Sean turn it off.
Actually, because
so they show that mechanism.
Okay.
I'm really glad I waited to watch this last episode because they show that mechanism.
Okay.
You don't physically drop that much in that moment, but the way that they angle it and what you see
screens.
In the viewport, like.
That's so crazy because the show of it is you're now in a escape pod, and so you lock into this escape pod and it drops off of the ship and you feel
and you're out.
You feel it, and then you're bouncing. You're getting out of there. You're getting out.
Well, and you can see Lieutenant Beck in one of the pods, like across the ship.
Yes.
Yeah, his drops right before ours does.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see him drop, and you're like, oh, we're dropping.
And that's what gives you that like impending
your tummy
doom.
feeling.
Oh man.
No, that effect was so cool.
Great feeling.
Yeah. And this is what kind of gets you to the point where you've now dropped out from into an escape pod. You're off of the I keep saying Death Star. You drop off of the Star Destroyer.
And you head back
and you're heading back to Batuu. But on the way, there's some resistance because there's TIE fighters coming at you. You're still having to fire out on people, and it's hectic. It's like hurry. I can't get out of here fast enough, but there's a lot of things in my way.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. You finally sort of crash land back onto Batuu.
And this is another fun part of the attraction because you land, you get out of the escape pod, and you're outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Baffling.
You're back out there.
Yeah, and it's like, it's almost as if like, hey, what took you so long? Because there's a crew member and you're just kind of like hanging out like, hey guys, we made it.
Mm-hmm.
No one saw the Star Destroyer.
Yeah, were you not
in space?
Were you not here for that, or what happened? So, but yeah, you're back on the base, and you end up outside, and you can tell that the actually no. Oh yeah, you come face to face with Beck's pod.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see his, like, you hear Finn being like, wait, where's Beck? We gotta find Beck.
Right.
And then, like, his pod sort of comes to life, and you see another animatronic of Beck, and you're like, wow, great job, guys. Like,
yeah, and it's just so magical because you end up outside of where you were. You have no idea where you just ended up, and you're like, wait a minute, I'm back. We made it. We did it. So you have a little bit of resolution there, and I remember stepping off of the attraction and just feeling like I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where I ended up. Right.
And I love that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it gives you that whole I just transported to another planet feeling all over again.
Well, it was like after going on Star Tours for the first time in a long, long time when you end up back in Star Trader and you're like, oh, hey, look where I ended up. Yeah. I'm in a new place. But being outside with ship wreckage and a crashed shuttle and, you know, your fun friend, Beck, and you're like, oh, you made it too. We all made it. We made it out alive. We completed our mission, you know? There's a sense of accomplishment at that point.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's funny. You still somehow end up by a gift shop.
Exactly.
Always.
Exactly. Yeah, you exit
like,
out
I never thought about it that way until I stepped out. I was like, oh, I'm at a gift shop.
I actually ran into, I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was like, it's funny because, you know, exit through the gift shop, but, you know, in just a different way. And it was just so funny to realize where you do end up. And it's between those two outdoor kiosks at the edge of Galaxy's Edge on the Critter Countryside. And it's so funny. You're like, oh, we can go shopping still.
It's, you know, everyone that I talk to about this attraction, I tell them, like, you could literally listen to this podcast and have everything spoiled for you, but it will not prepare you for just how epic it feels.
You're
my friend,
100% accurate there.
My friend met me today, and the very first thing that we did, like, as soon as she got here, I was like, okay, let's go. We got onto the attraction, and she stepped off and was like, I mean, we were literally just standing there for like 10 minutes, and she was going like, wow, like, I think I can go home now. Like,
yeah.
I was like, do you want to go ride on something else? She's like, why?
No, why would I?
She was like, you know, what she was talking about. It's like, this is the next level for Disney.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like, imagine, you know, they mentioned this in the Imagineering story. Like, imagine 100 years from now, like, what the attractions are going to be like.
You're going to be literally shot at. You're going to feel every blast because you're going to be wearing a tactile vest.
Well, and I just talked to Sean about this last night. Like, after experiencing that, I can't imagine what they're going to do with Avengers Campus.
Yeah.
Oh, so speaking of, there's a small chance that I might get to experience an attraction on it at some point before it opens. I don't, that's all I'm going to say because I don't know, and I don't want it to not happen, but
well, I
don't
hope
jinx
it does. I hope it does. That'd be awesome. Keep us posted on that.
It may have something to do with the fact that someone heard that I'd been on the Falcon 100 times. And they were
cool.
Like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Sometimes when you get noticed by Disney or people around Disney because of something like that, you get really fun stuff.
So fingers crossed.
No, that'd be awesome. But, you know, so personally, and, you know, I don't have a problem admitting things like this, but in the attraction, before we even got to the main show, I cried twice.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have anything left at the end, so I was just more in shock. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't speak. I was just in awe, and I was staring off into nowhere. But apparently everybody else in the party was full of tears.
No.
And that's a lot of people.
I was weeping through the queue, like just the grandeur of it all, and there were a couple of moments where I was getting teary-eyed, but then, like, stepping off, I mean, like, I was ugly crying. Like, it was so overwhelming.
It was.
At one point, I mean, everyone had sort of like stopped. I was still crying like 10 minutes after the attraction was over. And I walked over to a cast member that was sort of running the queue. And I was just like, dude, can I give you a hug? Because like, you just blew my mind.
That's so funny.
Like, he was like, dude, I get it. Like, here, bring it in. And like, we just had that moment where I was like, man, you get to be a part of this all the time. Like,
you know what? It's so funny,
like,
and I'm gonna say this to you for the first time because now that I'm thinking about what happened after the attraction.
Sure.
So we're all kind of standing around, and everybody's teary eyed, and we're all so just enthusiastic about what just happened, and we're so hopeful for the future of Disney and Star Wars franchises. And I look over at Cameron, and you had this look on your face. You were crying. You had tears running down your face. And you had the look on your face of Clark Griswold looking at the lights that had just been turned on in Christmas Vacation right before Cousin Eddie pops up. And I was like, look how proud he is. He is so, so proud.
Growing up, huge Star Wars nerd here, like, just playing make-believe, pretending to be a part of, the Rebel Alliance or being a part of the Empire and, fighting, playing lightsabers with my friends, like I wasn't on a ride. I was a part of like the Star Wars universe.
And that's how I saw it too, man. You can't help but feel like you're in something. I mean, it's so funny to say. And we have, everybody, any of us Disney or Star Wars people have that friend that's like, I don't get it. I don't get what you're talking about. How do you even how could this make you feel that certain way? I tell you, this ride made me feel like a child. It made me feel like I had never seen Star Wars in my life, like I knew nothing about anything. But at the same time, I felt like I was a resistance fighter, and I felt like I was going through this mission trying to escape Kylo Ren in real life. And it's, people can call me crazy all they want, but Disney did such a great job with Galaxy's Edge in general to make you feel like you've completely stepped out of your real world on Earth and you're now on a distant planet and you're part of this make-believe story. Like there's so much reality to it. It's so immersive that you can't help but feel like I'm in this.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, the first couple of preview days of going to Batuu, it was like I'd forget that I was at Disneyland. So the land as a whole, absolutely, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But then finally getting to, this, I feel like this was the climax for Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Like this, just the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
This blew everything else out of the water.
Yeah, and it's so funny because we talk about this a lot. Like we could know every secret about it, and it's still going to be shocking. It's still going to be amazing, and it's still going to be awesome to us. Knowing what we know about the rise of Skywalker and knowing how that ended, and still being able to go into this attraction, which is kind of in the middle of Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. So, Kylo Ren is still the bad guy. Rey is still a resistance person. And, there is the true resistance versus the First Order. Knowing what you know from the movie, you forget about it. It doesn't even matter anymore because you're now in this story. And it just like that, the whole ending of the new movie is moot because now you've gone back in time into this period where you're still fighting the First Order as a resistance fighter. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And we knew it was coming. That's the craziest part.
It's just getting goosebumps thinking about it.
I know, it's so crazy. And I'm so happy that we got to experience that together because, I've been a Star Wars fan for as long as I can remember. I'm 40 now. So I remember seeing, most of them in the theaters. And, being able to, join you, as a brother and sister, right? Tabitha, in the 501st Legion as costumers, and then being able to find, another commonality in our loves of Disney, and then being able to experience both things at the same time with you was so much fun. And I'm so glad that we got to do that together. And it was such an epic day, rain and all. It was such a great, amazing day because again, 21 hours we were there, and this was the ultimate icing on the cake, the ultimate cherry on top.
Well, and it was so, people were like, dude, you don't have to get there that early. I was like, yeah, but we were the first ones in the park.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, we didn't get on the attraction until like 5:45, but like that day, it was just such a fun day. Like we got to ride all these attractions because it wasn't like super crowded. We had to do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it
like,
was a good time.
It was just nonstop. And then that was the climax.
Yeah. Oh, and we got to drink amazing hot chocolate twice that day.
That's right. That's right.
Hot chocolate was so good. But yeah, it was such a treat, and it was. I keep telling people I couldn't have even imagined this, so my expectations were 100% blown out of the water.
No, 100%.
They couldn't have even. I couldn't even imagine anything like this. So I'm really pleased by it. I'm so glad we got to do this together. It was such a blast, and thanks so much for doing this with us. This is something that we've been as well as anybody. This is something we've been really passionate about for the past month or so. We're getting a lot of listens, a lot of subscribers, a lot of really good feedback. We're trying to, adjust our show as the listeners see fit. And, a lot of people are going to want to listen to this one because it's just such a hot thing right now. And I wanted to be able to talk about it. So thank you so much for being here with us, dude. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. And thanks for joining me in line for that crazy day.
Yeah, dude. And we love you so much. And we're so excited to be able to keep our Disneyland journey with you alive and happy. It's going to be a blast. Whatever the future has in store for the parks, I know that we've got great friends like you to enjoy it with.
Oh, yeah. Anytime. It's my backyard.
Yes, absolutely. So on that note, this was a long time coming. And I'm really happy that it happened.
We've been planning to do this episode since we were
talking about the podcast.
Yeah. We've had this one planned since the beginning. So I'm so glad it finally happened. I think now is as good a time as any to do our quote of the week.
Yay.
This is one of the more classic and well-known quotes by Walt.
It's one of my favorites.
I love it.
I got to pick it this week.
Yes, you did. Thank you for picking. It's a great quote. Here it goes. Laughter is timeless. Imagination has no age. Dreams are forever.
I like it so
That's
much.
so good. He was just so hopeful. I love it. There's always room for a Walt quote in your life. So hope this one brightened your day.
Me too.
This is it. The end of the show. We had a good time. And as always, we want to thank you so much because without you, this show would not exist. We do this for you, folks. We're having a great time and it's a great adventure and it's such a great little journey we're on and we're going to keep doing it. As long as there's a Disneyland to explore, we're going to give you the news.
Heck yeah.
But if you have any comments or questions or any stories that you want to share with our audience, please email us at magiconmainstreetpod@gmail.com. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram. It's at magiconmainpod. And we've got all kinds of stuff going in and out of that Instagram. Some of the stuff is more timely than others. So like I had said earlier, you might want to just turn on your post notifications. It's one notification. It's not going to hurt you. Also, we've got a few subscribers. We're so excited. Again, thank you so much for supporting us. But if you would like to become a Patreon subscriber, for as little as $2 a month, you'll get early access, never have to listen to an ad, and you'll also get a monthly entry in our drawings every month. That's as low as $2 a month. You can find out more information at patreon.com/magiconmainstreet. And don't forget our calendar. We made a really cool calendar for you. It's really easy to subscribe. Just check out the show notes. Just click on the little description there. There's going to be a link to our calendar. Click add all, and it's going to add all of our events to your calendar. Good stuff. You don't even have to write anything down. We do it for you. But lastly, if you could just take a few seconds and throw us a review, it would be so helpful. And also, if you haven't subscribed already,
what you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? Now's the time. We'll wait. Go ahead.
Did you do it?
Thank you. Thank you so much. But make sure you help spread this magic with all of your Disney loving friends. It's really easy. So on behalf of Tabitha, Daniel, Kenzie, Cameron, and myself, thank you so much for listening to the Magic on Main Street podcast, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye.
And here you may savor the challenge and promise of the future.